A lot of the focus today has been on the emergency response here, but this evening, well, this is how the community is responding to these events. It's impromptu. It really is quite something to see. Through the course of the day, we've been hearing about the desperate attempts yesterday to get to those children who were in the water. Initially, passers-by, people who live here, tried to get to them. They were joined by police and firefighters who went into the water to try and get them out. Police have clarified today exactly why their search continued for so many hours after the 4 children had been taken out of the water. They've said to us that some of the initial calls were that there were 5 or 6 people in the water. They needed to be sure, they said, that there was no one else in there. But they did say to us today that they have had no further reports of anyone being missing. No longer looking for signs of life. Instead, they were back in the freezing water today, and the ice that gave way under the weight of children who were playing. Now, their task is making sure no more lives have been lost. After desperate 999 calls brought dozens of emergency workers to the lake at Babsmill Park yesterday, 4 children were pulled from the water, all said to be in a critical condition when taken to hospital.
It is incredibly sad that we do not have any better news for you today.
That news confirmed by police and the fire service this afternoon, that 3 boys had died. They were aged 8, 10 and 11. The 4th child, we're told, is still critical and just 6 years old.
They did everything they could under the circumstances to get into the water to rescue the 4 boys.
Some of the officers went in waist deep. One of my officers was trying to punch through the ice to actually rescue the children themselves.
It's probably a stupid question, but how are the family?
The family, as you can imagine, absolutely devastated. Also at this time of year, it's on the run up to Christmas. Also adds to that tragedy, but as you can imagine, the families are absolutely devastated.
As word spread that 3 of the boys had died, the first of the flowers was soon added to by more.
I saw the kids playing over by the lake yesterday about lunchtime, and then the next thing I know, I've seen the blue lights in my toilet window, and came down. I live just up there, and the whole road was covered in ambulance, police. What, if anything, have you said to your little girl? I've explained to her that kids were playing on the ice yesterday and they fell through. Molly is only 5.5, so I know the youngest one is 6. So I think everyone that's got kids can really relate to what we feel broken as a community.
This is just the worst possible thing, and I just cannot imagine how the families and the local people are feeling at this time. You know, it's just so tragic. It really is.
All day, the work was made all the harder by temperatures that barely lifted. But as is so often the case when the worst happens,
just thought the best thing we can do is just to help where we can. Yeah, it's just absolutely tragic.
Tonight, by the lake, where 3 children who played could not be saved, candles are being lit in memory and also in grief. Well, all the time here this evening, there are more people coming out here in these freezing temperatures, bringing more flowers, lighting more candles, and standing really in quiet reflection. A number of people have said today that they kind of felt helpless, and I think this here is how people are trying to help each other cope.